as I advised you earlier, we're here to learn about sandwich making. But before we get right into that, I've got to cover a few bits of OH&S. Right, so the bathroom's down the hallway. There is also a medical kit in the hallway cupboard as well. And exits, door number 1, door number 2 is also down the hallway. Okay, so first things first, we're going to do 3 training videos. So the first one is more about your handouts and what we're going to be learning and what we're going to be doing. The second video will be practical. So that's where we get to make the sandwiches we've been talking about.
Can we eat them?
Yes, of course, we're going to eat them. That's the third part of the video. Exactly, so part 3 video will be, it's called, we'll just call it an assessment. I think it's formative assessment, is the phrase. So then we get to eat the sandwiches we've made, decide what you like, what you don't like. There will also be plenty of time for question and answers all the way through. If you've got any questions, just jump in, as long as we don't talk over each other and everyone's respectful. And then, yeah, so the third video again is we'll eat the sandwiches, we'll present them for a couple of different styles. So you can cover, like, if you're doing it to order, stuff for friends for a party, if you end up working in a cafe somewhere. So we'll do all those sorts of things. We need to talk about your work area. So you need to be aware of any slip, trip or fall hazards. So if there's cords on the floor, if there's water spilled on the floor, you don't want to trip over, slip over. Knife handling skills we need to discuss as well. Right? Knives have to be sharp and clean. So your cutting boards have to be clean as well. Alright, labelling and dating when you're preparing food in a commercial environment is really, really important. You can buy tags that have got date on, so you fill in what it is, who made it, all those sorts of things. Me personally, I prefer sticky tape. It's just quicker and easier for me, and I've been doing it for 30 years, so it's up to you guys what you want to use. Alright, the other thing you need to, in a commercial environment, is all your equipment needs to be tested and tagged by a qualified electrician. If it's not, it's within your, well, it's actually your obligation to inform your supervisor that it's not tagged currently and you can't actually use the equipment because it's a safety hazard. Right, so yeah, so what we're doing today is we're learning about sandwiches. And in your handouts, there's 4 different ones we're going to talk about shortly. And yeah, I've got a couple of regional favourites in there. Like Reuben's are very much New York. So that's your sauerkraut, corned beef, pastrami, that sort of thing. Banh mi's is pretty much a Vietnamese standard. Anytime you go to a Vietnamese takeaway shop, they're going to have banh mi. And like, you can't beat good old Australian vegetable cheese. We all grew up on it when kids take it to school. Yep. So anybody got any questions?
When you say that Reuben is in New York, what does that mean? That's where someone first made it.
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, and you're away. Alright, so that's that bit. So for you, I don't know, first things first, like there's a lot of history in sandwiches. Full fill sandwich is the popular origin. So you can have meat in between 2 bits of bread, and while kept gambling. But there's written records that show that it was from Mesopotamia in the 1st century before Jesus was born, or BCE, whatever you want to call that.
Yep.
Right, and that was just an unleavened bread with fruit and nuts and dates and things like that in it. And that was just your worker's meal. Alright. So, okay, so let's go through our handout. Right, so as we're aware, right, sandwiches, bread of some sort, and a filling.
Yep.
Right, so there's all sorts of things: bread rolls, baguettes, sourdough rye, pita bread, pretty much anything you can imagine. And then you look at what you're going to put in there. So whether it's vegetarian, so salads, chicken, beef, lamb, any of those sorts of things. Spreads can be mayo, butter, pesto, chili paste. One of my current favourites is chili crisp. Right, so then we get to the preparation bit and your hygiene. Right, everyone knows about correct hand washing techniques.
Well, yeah, full time.
No, you wash your hands, don't you?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so fair enough. So when you wash your hands, right, you've got to use an antibacterial soap. Gets all the germs off. Should take around 20 seconds.
Yep.
So the easiest one is if you sing Happy Birthday, the old school song. Alright, and a lot of people when they wash their hands miss in between their fingers. So when you wash your hands, you actually do that
Yeah.
to get in between, and your thumbs.
Yep.
And a lot of people always miss the back of their hands, so you make sure you're in a circular motion, and generally up to about one hand span up your wrist. And you're away. Any questions so far?
No.
Alright, so that's basic introduction to hand washing. When you're working with your equipment, make sure that your cutting boards aren't stained. So everything's got to be clean and sanitised. And very much an easy rule, as clean as you go. So you're not dropping stuff on the floor.
With the cutting boards, is there any specific type that you need to use, or can you just use any type of board?
At home, you can use whatever you like. In a workplace, they like plastic cutting boards. As the current legislation has been in place since 2001.
Right, yeah.
And that's when they banned wooden handled knives, wooden cutting boards, whatever. I personally don't agree with it at all.
Well, that's the question I've got, because I always thought, and I was told, and I heard on like internet or whatever, that a wooden cutting board is better for meat, because you can clean it.
It is.
And then, so why would you go with the plastic board in the environment of the workplace?
In the workplace, the food safety guys reckon that plastic cutting boards are easier to clean and sanitise.
Yeah.
Whereas wooden cutting boards, you can't actually put them through a dishwasher. So they're not technically getting sanitised.
I put mine through the dishwasher, but then that's my own. So it's, yeah.
So the two ranges of thought is the polyethylene ones, or plastic, are easier to maintain and clean. My thoughts is that wooden cutting boards, the timber actually absorbs the moisture and the bacteria goes with it. And once it gets inside the timber, it dehydrates and all your bacteria dies. So as long as you give it a good scrub every time you use it.
You use like salt, I think.
Yeah.
You use salt, scrub around.
Detergent, scrub around, salt kills everything anyway.
Yeah. But like, I've had cutting boards at home, the white like plastic ones, the polyethylene thing, and they start to cut and like fall apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
After a while when you cut them.
So that's where people start talking about microplastics
Yeah.
in your food, in your body, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I have to follow the rules. We all have to follow the rules, but whether or not we agree with them.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
All right. So there's stuff like that you can talk about for hours and argue about for hours. Whereas stuff like safety labels, allergen warning labels, that's all common sense.
Yep.
And that needs to be adhered to. So when you're labelling whatever you've made, especially if you're selling it to somebody, because customers don't always ask questions.
Yep.
They're just going to go, oh yeah, I'll have that. And all of a sudden they start munching on this image and realise that they're allergic to eggs. And it's your fault because nobody told them.
Or religion lettuce or something stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, there's food allergies for every day of the week now.
Yeah.
Like your common ones are gluten and dairy and nuts.
Yeah.
And they're the ones you really need to watch out for. So if you put pesto on a sandwich, you need to be aware that it's got pine nuts in it.
Yeah.
And if it's a commercially bought one, it can have peanuts, cashews, and almonds in it as well.
Because of the
And see, the other thing is you can't, so if you're using a knife and you're making peanut butter sandwiches, you can't use that same knife on something that is for someone that's...
Peanut allergy.
Yeah.
You need to clean your knife. In cases like that, with allergies that severe, you would actually separate yourself from your work area and go over to a separate and have designated allergen boards, knives, gloves.
Yeah.
And it's a completely separate work area from your normal station to avoid cross-contamination.
Yeah.
And in the workplace, all your allergen cookware is completely separated and labelled as such.
Yeah.
So you'll have a little cupboard or a box or something that's got, I've got to do allergen sandwiches, and that's the equipment you use. It gets cleaned, it gets sanitised, it gets put back separately again to avoid cross-contamination. Because nut allergies is ones like dairy allergy makes you uncomfortable, to say the least, but it won't kill you. Whereas a nut allergy, in a lot of cases, by the time whoever's eating the sandwich realises that they've got a problem, it can be minutes between I've made a mistake and anaphylactic shock and death. Bit heavy for what we're talking about today, but it is what it is. Right, so that's why we need, like, labelling is really important.
You label what's in the sandwich
Mhm.
on the top, that's with the stick tape. So
Yep. So, and then, and even we're rolling out in a lot of display cabinets, it'll have what the sandwich is and then list the allergens. So people will look at a BLT and go, oh, I'm allergic to tomato.
Yeah.
And hopefully not order a BLT.
Okay, that's, yeah, you can think of all that.
Your safe storage temperatures for chilled items is 0 to 5 degrees.
Yeah.
Right? I like to err on the side of caution and have my fridges sitting around 3 or 4, just in case the compressor doesn't get quick enough, and you're away. For hot items, it's between 5 degrees and 60 degrees is considered the danger zone for bacteria growth. So everything's got to be hotter than 60 degrees. A lot of companies, like ESS that I used to work for, go the extra 5 degrees, so it's a minimum of 65 degrees is a holding temperature, just to be on the safe side. Right, so there's a lot to food safety. There are websites you can look at if you're interested. It's Food Safety Australia New Zealand, .com.au, off the top of my head. Will give you everything you need to know. But yeah, getting back to your tools. Everything's got to be cleaned and sanitised. An easy one as well with your cutting board, if you're doing a lot, I just do it all the time, is just a wet cloth under your cutting board on your bench. Because stainless steel and hard plastic boards are very slippy, and if you've got a wet cloth under there, your board doesn't move. So you've less risk of cutting yourself, or pretty much. Okay, so let's get back to where we get to with the different sorts of bread. Alright, all your bread, your rolls, right, your fillings. It's pretty much, with sandwiches, it's your imagination is pretty much your limit. Right, so if you want to use, have one slice of bread's white, the other one's whole grain, and then in the middle, if you're making a club sandwich, you can do sourdough just to get all the different flavours and textures.
Yeah.
Happy days. Right, then again, right, fruits, nuts, cream cheese, depending on what you want to make. Pickles, always good. And all sorts of different sorts of pickles and relishes out there. Cranston pickles, I think, is one of my favourites. Alright, so we've done that. Alright, so classical sandwiches, like your old school, like way back. Right, so cucumber sandwiches.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. Cucumber
Afternoon
sandwiches.
tea with cucumber sandwiches, like royal family dainty dainty.
Cucumber sandwiches was a good thing,
Like,
Tastes like pumpkin.
it does. I
it
agree.
doesn't, I don't see the fascination personally with cucumber sandwich.
It's got something to do with the English,
It's a ladies' thing. Women like it.
It's one of my favourite reviews of cucumber
that.
Oh, no?
is from a chef, a writer, and his thing was the cucumbers should be peeled, de-seeded, and then tossed aside as they're good for nothing.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Alright,
Anyway, we'll go.
that is, so that is what it is, but move on. Alright, so and the other thing with your knife, you've got to have some basic knife skills. You want your sandwiches, if you're presenting them, especially if you're doing it for customers, or you just want to impress your friends, as long as your cuts are uniform. Right, and so everything looks the same. So you need, you need a sharp knife for that. Right, so there's all different, like modern sandwiches, like everyone likes the avocado sandwiches at the moment. Right, hot sandwiches, the toasties, Reubens to a point if you want. What's the other classic one? Jackals.
A jackal.
Chapel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chapel,
Yeah.
yeah. The old school from the fire one. We've got
Yeah.
That's it.
cheese and peanut
baked
butter.
beans, baked
No.
beans, cheese and.
Spaghetti,
Baked beans.
spaghetti jackals.
Yes.
Baked beans when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Egg cheese.
But you put a bit of little cheese in
Peanut
it.
butter.
Cheese not there.
Oh, and you
Oh,
have to wait for it to
The shack we used to do all the
cool
time.
down.
Build a fire.
Then
Yeah.
the nuclear when they come in.
So then you can see cold sandwiches, chicken salad, that sort of thing. Open face.
Yeah.
So it's very trendy in pubs and clubs and things to open face steak sandwiches.
Oh,
So you can actually see what's in there. So you'll have one side of bread with your salad,
okay.
and then this side will have your steak and your bacon and eggs and all that sort of thing. So then you can
Just put it together.
and just put it together. All right.
Right, that's what you mean by open face.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's it. Yeah, right.
Okay.
I don't think I've come across it before.
Yeah.
No.
No, you don't need the right place.
Okay.
No.
I can't afford those places.
Any questions so far?
No.
No.
So what's a club sandwich?
Alright, so club sandwiches is the 3-layered thing. So chicken club. So you have a slice of bread, and you're going to have bacon, lettuce, tomato on one side, then another slice of toasted bread, and then the second layer of filling will be your chicken, some other bits and pieces and seasonings, and then your top slice of bread. So it comes out, so it's like 3 layers, and they're generally huge,
Yeah.
and they're very, very
I always
tasty.
understood it as like the 3 layers as like a piece of bread in the middle. That's what-
Yeah.
And he's going to see the bloody thing if it's that money.
Generally, knife and fork. Right? So fill rolls.
Yeah.
All right. So and there's a couple of different ways you can do a rolling.
Sushi? Yeah,
All sort of fill roll. So yeah, you can cut them down the middle and then stack them up as high as you want. I like doing it. See, all you fill in. It's a muffalata. It's an Italian sandwich. It's all like processed meats and ham and salami and all those sorts of things. You fill it up and then you squish it together, roll it up in flat wrap,
Yeah.
really tight, let it sit so it essentially sets.
Oh.
So then when you cut it, it doesn't just explode everywhere. But then you've got your roast capsicum, tomatoes, lettuce, mortadella,
Yeah.
simple lettuce. If you want to throw in basil and herbs and things like that, a little bit of thyme, it's really nice.
Mm.
All right, so that's that. Wraps. Oh, classic Belfry wraps.
Yeah.
A little bit of mountain bread or flat bread or whatever you want to call it. Pinwheels, same thing. Still flat bread. Or you can actually use just normal white bread and hit it with a rolling pin.
Yep.
And put your filling in, like cream cheese or whatever,
Yep.
herbs and roll it up. Looks really cute. Right. And then when you start talking about assembling your sandwiches, you need to be aware of what you're using. So like if you put tomato in a sandwich, most people just throw it straight on the bread on the bottom or on the top.
No.
Why not?
Because bread gets soggy.
Yes, it does.
I used to go to school years and like one time ago.
Soggy sandwiches, mate.
I would make tomato, lettuce, and cheese. And if you get it at lunchtime, it'd be soggy.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
goo.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially when we're using all the tip tops, like chip bread like we had when we were kids.
Yeah.
It was just paste, it was awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why me and we're
Red radical blend, I was like,
Yeah.
this is all.
That's why we're all so damaged over
Yeah, it was genetics of we all like that.
But yes, that's exactly right. So yeah, and then we can look at ethnic breads, like focaccia.
Nice.
Yeah, like Turkish breads are always popular.
Yeah.
I actually started using Turkish bread for pizzas, bases.
Works great.
Brilliant.
And that's one of the arguments I have just when I'm feeling pissy, is pizza an open face sandwich?
I'll be really one of these pizzas.
It's an open sandwich.
Just calzone,
It is.
count as a sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Depends.
Already one of them.
Right. But yeah, there's always as well hot dogs. Are they sandwiches or not?
Oh, no.
Let's not go there.
Alright, so yeah, there's open debate on all sorts of things. Alright,
Well,
so
it fits the description.
It does fit the description, but it isn't really a sandwich though.
It's a roll.
It's a roll more for the point.
Technical.
Technical.
Yeah, but then you look at, so when you're doing your assembly techniques, like your moisture barriers, so yeah, put some lettuce or something down and then put your tomato in, or your wet ingredients. Right, I personally like doing things like cream cheese on the first layer, because nothing gets through that, so then you put whatever you want in there,
It just looks really solid.
and it just, your bread doesn't go soggy.
No, okay.
Yeah, you know? And then you got to minimise, like, look at when you're working out what you're making, like just like how much you want, how much equipment or ingredients you need before you start making your sandwiches, so you don't end up with a heap of wastage.
Yeah.
Right? Because food waste is a real issue in Australia, it's all over the world.
I like this.
Right, so, and when you're doing your presentation, think about what you're doing with it. Like, is it going into a clamshell, going into a display cabinet? Am I making sandwiches to put on a platter for friends? Am I packing my kids lunch? Right, so then it's like that is all going to come down to what I can put in. And like I said earlier, 4 hours of a soggy cheese and lettuce tomato sandwich sitting in the bottom of a backpack.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But you still had it though.
Yeah, that's why I really don't have any choice. Right? So yeah, and your presentations where you need to look at your cuts on how you cut your sandwich and what's appropriate. Like, you're not going to try and cut a chicken salad roll into tiny little triangles, because it's just going to fall apart. Well, good so far.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
To go back on the hot dog thing, the McDonald's burgers basically it's effectively a sandwich. It's but you call it a burger. So
So you know what? That's also an original thing.
it's so it's what is a hot dog and what is a burger and what is a sandwich.
We'll discuss that later. Over the
Right, because yeah, a lot of places in America they refer to them as burgers, and then you go down towards the southern states and they're sandwiches.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Yeah. Really right.
Can we go through what we're going to make?
We will in a second. Alright, so again, with your storage, make sure your temperatures are right, make sure everything's covered up, make sure it's labelled. Right? And yeah, depending on the work site you're in, you'll need to fill out paperwork for what you've made, when you've made it, who made it, and then you'll have temperature logs to fill out as well, to make sure that there's a paper trail to make sure the food you've made is actually safe and stays safe
Yep.
for consumption. Alright, so let's rip through the selection of sandwiches I've chosen for you in your handouts. Alright, so our first one is a Reuben. Right, hugely popular, one of my personal favourites. So pastrami, Russian dressing or cocktail sauce as a substitute. Butter, because we're going to toast the bread. Right, Swiss cheese and sauerkraut. It's fairly straightforward, it's fairly simple ingredients, but it's a little bit more than the sum of its parts because they're delicious.
Okay.
Because,
What is Russian dressing?
okay, Russian dressing, again, old school. It's a mustard-based sauce with cornichons and herbs, a few other bits and bobs in there. Right? Also has a little bit of tomato paste or tomato sauce for colour.
Yep.
Right? The quick, easy substitution these days is usually cocktail sauce or seafood dressing, whichever pronunciation. Right? So there's 4 in here, and we'll get you a little bit later on. We'll get you to choose 2 that you guys would like to make, and then we get to eat them. But that'll be the second part of the video. Second one for the handout is banh mi, Vietnamese classic. Right, this one came around from, it's pretty much an amalgamation of when the French people were in charge of Vietnam.
Yep.
So that's where the baguette and the pate come in. Right, and then the local bits is all the pickled veggies and coriander, pork belly. There are variations on the meat filling. Traditionally, it's pork belly. I've seen chicken. I've seen duck, which is really nice. Beef, but to me, it's the banh mi is all about pork belly and loads of it. And you generally head towards 50-50 pork belly to salad. And yeah, that one, like I said, it's your half baguette. Pickled carrot daikon. That's it. Carrot daikon is a Asian radish that you can get around occasionally. Like if you're in an Asian grocer, they're always going to have them if they're in season. Right, spring
Oh, so they're
onions.
not in a jar already pickled? Or?
No, you've got to pickle them.
Yeah, okay.
So they come freshly great, like you drill in them up, they're great in stir fries, adds a really great salad, adds a really nice crunch. They're not as fiery as the little red English radishes.
Yeah.
They've still got a nice crunch, got plenty of flavour, but they don't get that really burning hot like you normally get from a radish. Yeah, and iceberg lettuce, I know the recipe says it's optional, but I just love my crunchy crunchies.
Iceberg is nice.
Yeah. And chili sauce, again, if you like spicy like I do.
What penne do you use?
Yeah.
Traditionally duck and butter.
Yeah, right.
But if, yeah, and again, whatever pate you get a hold of, like I've had duck, I've had chicken, I've tried pork liver pate,
Yeah.
which I wasn't a fan of, to be honest, a little bit too middling.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
Oh,
again,
yeah, they're nice, that's it.
but again, it's one of those things, like, if you don't like spring onions, leave them out.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, and you're right. Right, so pinwheels, this is what we talked about. Oh, it's a bit of a classic. Alright, so flatbread, we're going to mix up some chopped up bacon, some iceberg, some diced tomatoes. Mayonnaise and cream cheese, it's easy to do that first. So fold them together so it softens up, and then put all the rest of your stuff in.
Why do you need to put mayonnaise and cream cheese together?
Softens it up a little bit, and it helps cut back the richness of the cream cheese. And again, yeah,
You
again,
help spread it too, wouldn't it?
mm,
Yeah,
make it much easier to spread.
Spread cream cheese a bit thick otherwise.
Yeah, and you're right. So, and then yeah, again, pinwheels. It's like we're going to do a BLT one, but it's open to like whatever you feel like putting in there. As long as you've got a binder like the mayonnaise and the cream cheese, so that's going to hold everything together, stop it falling out.
Yeah.
Because with pinwheels, you don't do them like a wrap. They're not huge. Pinwheels are generally that big, and they're little and they're cute, and they're like 2 bites.
Yeah, right.
Finger food, definitely for tea parties to go with your cucumber sandwiches.
Yeah.
Everybody good? Nobody wants a break?
We're interested in fingers and things like cucumber sandwiches.
Oh, it's more interesting to do.
Yeah, cucumber sandwiches, boy.
Right. And then, yes, but most of these, again, if you want to add stuff to it, you can. You want to take stuff out, you can. Right. And our last one is our classic ham and cheese and tomato toasty. Right. Right. Again, like toasties, you can use butter or mayonnaise on the outside. I prefer mayo. Gives it a bit more of a crunch.
Yep.
Doesn't muck around too much with the flavour. It gets a really good texture on it. And again, best thing about a toasty, they're quick, they're simple, they're easy. Most people have got all this stuff in the fridge already.
Yep.
And again, you want to zhuzh it up, add some mustard, add some hot sauce, add more ham, add more cheese, add more tomato, and then
Hot sauce.
and then go for gold with your cheese. Like it doesn't have to just be a Kraft single.
Yeah, you got tasty shit.
Tasty, cheddar, parmesan, you name it, chuck them in there.
The old cheese fillet.
Oh yes, indeed. So any questions so far?
No. No, that's all good.
Can you explain what sauerkraut is, please?
Okay, there's something. So sauerkraut is fermented cabbage. So yeah, so most people think pickled and fermented are the same thing. They're not. Sauerkraut you can use white cabbage, so just a drumhead cabbage, or lombok, or I think the other name for it is napa cabbage. And you basically put it in salt, like give it a really in between all the leaves and stuff, put it in a jar and let it do its thing. Fermented food is getting a really good run at the moment because of all the probiotics that are supposed to be good for you when you gut biome and health and all that sort of thing.
So you cut it all up, then sprinkle salt, or you just put it in between all the, what do you say, in between all the leaves?
You can do either.
Right.
So yeah, and same thing with what's my other favourite ferment is kimchi. So that's got a little bit of gochujang paste or chili paste in it and a lot of salt. And you can either cut it up, so it's easier to deal with, or you just push it in between all the leaves, stick it in a jar and let it do its thing, but then when you pull it out, you're pulling out whole from it,
Oh, yeah.
and it gets a little bit messy.
Messy,
I
yeah.
always thought sauerkraut was pickled.
Anything else?
So what was the other, you said sauerkraut is different, fermented is different than
Pickle.
pickled?
So in your banh mi, you've got pickled carrot daikon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where, yeah, so what do you, how do you pickle?
So what we pickle is you'll make a pickling spice, which is the easiest one is even parts water, sugar, and vinegar. And then you put your pickling spices in, and depending on, you can just buy your generic from the store,
Yeah.
and they're labeled pickling spices, or you can, if you want to get regional, you can start using things like star anise, cardamom pods, and make whatever you want, and you bring that to a simmer, so the flavour's infused. Once it cools down, you salt your veggies, get the moisture out, put it in a jar, pour the pickle in and put over, and let it sit for a couple of days.
Right.
So it's something you can do, you can't do it the day you make the sandwich. Obviously, you have to do it.
You can do quick pickles. You don't generally need a sous vide machine for that, because the pressure from the sous vide pushes all the vinegar and flavours into the veggies.
Right.
But they don't take that long to make, and it only leaves to sit in the fridge for a couple of days. But as with all things pickled, the longer they sit, the better they get.
So it has to be in glass, or you put it in plastic containers, or?
Glass preferable, just from a sanitisation point of view. But you can use plastic containers as well.
And have they got a, you said the longer you leave it, so it hasn't got some sort of life expectancy?
To be honest, most of the pickle stuff you buy from Woolies is going to have the best before it use by date.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas I've got stuff in the fridge that's been pickled, it's been sitting in for a couple of years.
Pickling's a way of preserving.
Yeah, and it's like
It's
canned.
an old school way of keeping food.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Way back, yeah.
Okay.
So people all sorts of things back in the days.
Yeah,
Which is almost dying out, virtually.
it is. It really is.
It is dying away.
But yeah, I was just
People getting lazy, just go to the shop, buy it, throw it away.
but yeah, like pickled stuff. Who doesn't like gherkins in their burgers or in a sandwich?
No,
Pickled.
there's people that don't like it, but still.
Yeah, they're still
It's
in there.
food. When it comes down to it, it's food.
Yeah,
You're hungry.
yeah, you'll eat it.
Yeah.
Eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So I reckon it might be time for a quick break. So we'll wrap this one up. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your time. We'll take a quick break and we'll proceed on to part 2.
Eating.
Making.
Making.
Oh,
Making, and then there'll be the eating.
Yeah.
So,
We're
all
right
right.
into eating, but we've got to make it first.
Exactly. All right, so thank you all for your time,
Yep.
Thank
and
you.
we'll chat again shortly.